This is Leicester Till I Die TV. Watch and subscribe on YouTube and listen on your podcast platform.
Hi everybody, Jerry Taggart here. Now be sure to watch Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV by subscribing on YouTube and following them on social media for all the latest Leicester City news and information. Come on you foxes!
Seven, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And it's live.
The chasing pack are closing in. Chelsea are only 3 points behind us, but they've got a better goal difference. West Ham are only 5 points behind us, but they've got a game in hand. Everton, also with a game in hand, are only 2 points behind them. Can Leicester get 3 points this weekend and blunt the blades and keep the gap? Or will Sheffield United do a Fulham and beat us as the bottom team? Good evening, this is Leicester Till I Die. Good evening, fellow Fox fans. It's Thursday night. It's 2 minutes past 7, and it's the new slot for the Opposition View show. Well, while we've got one game a week, how long that will go on for, who knows? League action this weekend. We are back with a match against Sheffield United. This is the Opposition View show. Like I say, you can catch us live on YouTube, Leicester Till I Die TV. And if you are watching on that, please give us a bit of a subscribe. We're trying to get the 500 subscribers by the end of the season. Would love you forever if you did that. Or if you prefer, won't love you if you do that, whichever you prefer. Facebook, Leicester Till I Die, the group. Twitter and Periscope at Leicester TID. It's Sheffield United, like I say, this weekend, and it's going to be on Sky Sports if you have that platform from the King Power Stadium at 2 o'clock. You want to listen to it rather than watch it? BBC Radio 5 Live, BBC Radio Leicester if you're in the Leicestershire area, or lcfc.com radio wherever you are. And it is third versus 20th. Foxes versus the Blades. Are they going to do a Fulham on us? Or are we going to waltz it? It's going to be a difficult one. I know that. We're going to welcome in Rob. He's been a Blades fan all his life. And his motto is, Blade for life, have a laugh. Life's too short to be serious all the time. All I'll say is, Rob, are you able to laugh this season?
You've got to laugh. It's the only way forward. You've got no option.
Welcome along. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for being brave enough to join us as things are at the moment. We're going to say hello to the Bronze Plumber. How do, mate? How you doing? Thanks for joining us. And hello to Stephen Collins. Thank you. You like the backdrop. It is new, as you know. It's courtesy of Craig Bird. So we'll tell you about that towards the end of the show. And, of course, that is the Premier League trophy, Rob, just in case you were wondering what it looks like.
You have to go back over 100 years for us to have won a league toss.
There's nothing like kicking a fellow fan when he's down, is there, really?
Hey, you're not a blade for glory.
I tell you what, though, you're not. No, well, us fans aren't. Hey, we never thought it would happen. You know, don't sort of say never, as James Bond once said. But we're going to get the elephant in the room out of the way first, because I think, you know, that's important. Well, there's a couple of elephants. Here's the big one to start off with. 28 games last season, you are there in, I think that's 7th place. You're above Tottenham, you're above Arsenal. Yeah. Move forward 12 months, 28 games, you're at the bottom of the league. You've got 14 points, and you had 40 this time last year. What has gone wrong?
I think it's more what went right last year, to be honest with you. Our league position, it really, the points total is a surprise. The fact that we're struggling is not so much a surprise. Last season, obviously, we've gone up from Championship. We managed to keep players fit. We've got a core of players. The team that went up cost a total of £8 million that went up. And then we made a few signings up front where we had to make signings. So we fetched in McBurney and Mose, and they played well at first. But rest of the squad, we had no depth to the squad. So we kept the core of players fit. And our defence was superb, but they were also the key to our attack, because as overlapping centre-backs, so as defenders were key to how we played. We started off this season, Jack O'Connell got injured, who was one of his key players. Then John Fleck broke his back, and then De Stevens got injured. So all the left side went. We started losing games, we had no build-up, and we've struggled all season. The trouble is we've had that many injuries. I mean, we're now putting kids on bench, but we've had that many injuries that the depth of the squad is just not strong enough. After this season, 18 out of our 25 players cost a total under £3 million. And you don't survive with a squad like that, not in this league.
It is. No, I agree. And it's very much because I mean, I love, to be honest with you, and I'm no disrespect here, because I put Leicester into this bracket, but I do like to see the smaller clubs, if you like, do well at the expense of the big boys. So, you know, I'd love to see Newcastle go down and say Fulham or yourselves or stay up. You know, I include Leicester. You know, we used to be in that position. We're still not Man City style, but it is the depth of the squad. I mean, I think as you look through, I mean, Liverpool obviously are really suffering with their injuries. At the start, we played Christian Fuchs, I think, about the first 9 games, and he hadn't played 9 games in the previous 3 seasons put together. But we had got that kind of squad depth, and we had got, when the youngsters came in, we have got a really, really good youth system to come through. That probably, like you say, your injuries are as bad as a lot of other teams, but you haven't got that depth.
No depth at all.
You know,
no. We are really struggling. It's like we'll get on to the match on Sunday, but you'll be talking a 20-year-old loanee from Chelsea. You're talking Kean Bryant, who's played an handful of games in 3 seasons from Manchester City, who's been injured all the time, and hopefully we're hoping Jagielka will be back at 38-year-old. So with a defence like that in Premiership, you're talking probably worst defence that's ever appeared in Premiership. And compare that to Jack O'Connell, John Egan and Basham, who whereas last season we had one of the best defensive records in division. It's just a totally different world. You just can't compete. But it's not only in how you defend, it's that they're not very good going forward either. So we don't construct.
I mean, a lot of teams do struggle in the second year. I mean, I can remember Blackpool, when they came up with Ian Holloway, they were top of the league at one point, stayed up next season, straight back down again. And it is, and I know we had an amazing second season, but that's kind of the exception rather than the rule. But we struggled when we first came up. But I want to say a huge thank you to Sheffield United, because the team before yourself that was the one that got relegated the earliest, which was March, got relegated with the least number of points, which was 11, is Derby County. Obviously, don't we know it? That's been our target all season, is to be that. We're all laughing now. We all go down laughing now. We're not worst team ever. I know that's what everybody wants to avoid, but being from Leicester and Derby only being obviously up the road and rivals, thank you for not taking the record off them there. But Stefan is oh no, he's back. Good evening, Stefan. He's a Villa fan, but he loves to come on the Leicester shows. He's a closet Leicester fan, I think. You know. Stephen asked a serious question, and it is one. Can you see United throwing caution to the wind and just going out with a bang and going for every game?
I don't think we've got the players to do that. People keep saying, let's just go for it. And it showed last week against Southampton. When you put more forwards on, we just get more exposed at back and results could become humiliating. So I think what we've got to try and do is remain competitive and see what we can do. With that back line, if you just push everybody up, counter-attack, you're just going to get murdered. Yeah. So I don't see that happening. I think I prefer to go down being all right, just narrow defeats. I think we gain more from that than going down losing 5 and 6-0, putting kids in and having no back line at all.
Yeah.
So I don't see us throwing caution to win.
No. Do you know how soon you can get relegated?
Oh, I'm a pessimist, but I'm not that pessimistic. I think we'll survive at least after Easter, put it that way.
So we're looking into April then. So again, the Derby County record is there. That's what happened.
We've beat them. We've got 14 now. We've got 26% more points than they got.
Yes, yeah. So Facebook user here, Josh, Leicester till I die's very own Tyson Fury. I hope you're keeping that beard shaved, Josh. It looks like, unfortunately, the Blades will be going down. How quickly do you think you can bounce back to the Premier League?
I'll be perfectly honest with this. Because we've bought Championship players, when we get us players back, it all depends on how many we sell. I think we've got one go of it. Our owners ain't got no money. So the players that we have bought have been bought on back of Premiership money. If we don't succeed, if we don't keep hold of as players and keep Chris Wilder, if we don't succeed next season, I think it could be quite a few years. If we keep Wilder and we keep the players, I think we'll come up next season. I don't think the Championship's particularly strong at all.
And that leads me very nicely on with talking about, as you talk about Chris Wilder. We've seen some clubs will go down, keep the manager, try and keep the team as best they can and bounce back. Other teams, get rid of the manager and go, right, you've taken us down, time for somebody new to come in. Given the choice, would you want to keep hold of Chris Wilder? And do you think they will?
They'll absolutely. Well, Wilder's got 95% backing of fans. 100% right. Definitely. Absolutely. Everybody wants Chris Wilder to stay. I mean, the guy, like I say, to get us up here with how much he's spent and the players he's brought in, free transfers, were a miracle. Yeah. Last season showed that we've got players who can survive if they play on top of the game in Prem, but not enough of them. If we go down, players that we've bought have done it in Championship, so I expect us to come back up. I think the problem is the disagreement between him and the chairman on the way forward. Because Chris Wilder is very much, he wants to manage club and he wants us to do it. He wants us to invest in us training facilities and keep the majority of players the team together. Like I said, the owners, it's yet to be seen what their position is on that. They're saying the right things, but so he wants to stay. But if owners try and mess around with him, the question will come: is will he?
Are they new owners, or have they been there a while?
Their owners is from Saudi Arabia. But are you Saudi Arabian? I know that haven't got any money, I think.
I was going to say, surely that makes them rich, isn't it?
It's part of the royal family, but I think he's on Harry's side of it. I think he's on push out.
He's been kicked out, has he?
So he used to be a joint owner with McCabe, who used to be our chairman, and McCabe brought him in. And then there were a big bust up and court cases, and Prince won the club. But the question is how much money has he got to invest in it? Yes. And I think that's one of the things that we come to. We like United and Leicester. Is I think Leicester was attractive because you're a sizable city, but you've got a good catchment area.
Yeah.
Sheffield, two-club city. I mean, add them together, we get 50,000 fans every week. but following teams. But individually, we're very much an inner city Sheffield team. We're surrounded by football teams from other towns and cities all around us. So I don't think we're an attractive buy, to be honest with you. So I don't think it'll ever happen to us, even though we've got a solid.
I do know what you mean. I mean, we are literally the only fully professional in the football pyramid in the whole of the county. You have to go out of the county to find another football team. I mean, you're going to go. I mean, you stayed up, so you've got you've had a couple of seasons of Premier League money. You're going to go down. You're going to get the parachute payments. Are you I know a lot of clubs who were all in debt, even ourselves, and we've got rich owners, we're taking bank loans to cover things because of the ongoing situation. Do you think you will be given any of that money, or also not you personally? That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
It would be nice.
Do you think Chris Wilder will be given any of that money to strengthen to come back up?
He'll not be given any additional money. I mean, we're going to have to sell players like Berg when he's back fit. Perhaps we probably have to get rid of, he'll probably have to go or whatever to stimulate money. The board's not just going to say, here's an additional £20 million for players next season.
Yes.
I think what might help next season, obviously, Championship, you can have more loans. So we might go along getting loans in and see how we go with that. But like I said, they haven't got the money. And it's just that's as clear as it is. I mean, his intentions are good, but he hasn't got the money to fund Premier League football.
No. This is actually, and we spoke about this earlier when we had a quick chat, and I was surprised. We've never been in the sort of Premier League, apart from last season and this, at the same time. So we've actually only met 3 times. And I've got to be honest, we've had 3 wins, albeit the last one was quite close. I mean, the last 3, we had a 2-1, obviously, at Bramall Lane earlier in the season, and last season a 2-0 and a 2-1. So they've been reasonably tight games. But going into this game, your form, obviously, it's why you are at the bottom. I mean, you did manage to sort of beat Villa, but
where
can you see sort of, the points coming from if you are going to have? I mean, and you could still survive, but where can you see the points coming from?
We've got no chance. The fact of it is to be quite honest with you, if we reach 20 points. I mean, I think we'll be lucky. We haven't got the players to compete at this level, and it's like that. I mean, I used to manage a team that got put in a league that were above their standard, and every week were a struggle. You were surviving, and it's no worse. The players, the players that we've got fit aren't of the standard that's required for Premier League football.
Yes.
So I think we're going to struggle for points as we go forward. I mean, going back to those games, I mean, the 2 games at Bramall Lane, particularly the one last year, earlier on each season, were an excellent game, which, I mean, Barnes scored that scorcher, and Leicester won that 2-1. I mean, second half, we came back into that game. The game at Leicester were easy for Leicester. But then again, we were starting with injuries then, and we started to go downward. When we come back after the lockdown, that's when we started getting injuries and started fading away. And this season, it's just continued even further as more players have got injured.
You and us both were fading away straight after lockdown. I'll tell you, we threw away a Champions League spot. But would you as a fan then, and Leicester were like this, and I'm going back quite a while now. I'm going back to the pre-Premier League team. We've got promoted. I think it's us and Manchester City have been promoted more times out of the second tier than any other's teams, which also means, of course, we've been relegated more times. Would you sooner be winning week in, week out in the second tier, or be in the Premier League but struggling?
I think you be a chase better when you win. I'd hate to be a team that doing it that way. At least you've got the joys of the promotions and anticipation of the downs and relegation. I think there's something to be said for being a yo-yo team, and that's reality. It's a football structure, and that's where our position is in that. And I think that's the best we could have hoped for. I think the Prince's plan this season, where if we could survive, finish 4th from bottom, then we could buy 3 more good players and do it that way slowly. by surviving and try and build a squad up like that. Obviously, with the injuries that we've got, it's not worked, and that's the way it is.
And I think it's like this last season and this season with COVID and everything that's gone on, it's just been totally weird, and planning has been, you can't predict who's going to beat who. I mean, just as a reminder for Stefan, who I said before was a Villa fan, and I've, just put that up there for him yet again, that you beat Villa 1-0.
Yeah, with 10 men.
With 10 men, yeah. Stefan, you lost, Stefan. How are you feeling now, Stefan? You got beaten by Sheffield United.
No, he should love United. It was their ghost goal that were over the line and not given that actually kept him up to be in Premier League.
Hey, don't make him feel any better. We like to wind him up. As he said there, don't show the Villa. But yeah, I mean, looking. Let me bring this up. Looking at the game earlier in the season, then, which that isn't, and I just screen jumped as I clicked it. It was 2-1. It was one of the earlier games in the season. We were lucky. I mean, it was 1-1 up until the 90th minute, and we got, or 91st even, and we got 2 goals and a goalpost and a corner flag from you, didn't we?
Absolutely. But that summed United up. I mean, the stupid goals we give away. I mean, we have a throw-in and you're off, throw it backwards, miskick it backwards, and put it through for Vardy to run on and score. I mean, it was a good ball to put him through. But the stupid goals we give away is just ridiculous. And you add them all up, and that's what costs you points. And Chris Wilder's right. Last season, tight games were 0-0, and we could nick a goal and keep 0. This season, we can't score, and we're getting silly goals away. It's a recipe for disaster, and that's what it's been.
Yeah. And what are you like as a team? And I explain why I'm asking this afterwards. At set pieces, let's say at corners, are you good at defending them? Or are you good? Well, obviously not too good at scoring them because of where you are. But overall,
we're not good at defending them or scoring them. No, I think we've conceded most from set pieces again because the 3 central defenders are out. We are Basham, Egan, and O'Connell, who dominated middle area last year. And so we had best record. Take them out, put the 3 in that set of playing, you've got a problem. And so we're very vulnerable to set pieces. And we don't get that many because we don't get up pitch often to say how good we are at attacking them.
The only reason I'm asking about that because we've been awful at corners all season. We got a headed goal against Brighton in the last game, and that was from a corner. And it was like the first time we scored from a corner all season. We take a corner and it's as likely to end up in your box as it is end up back with Kasper Schmeichel. So the fact that you're not good at defending them is good. But do you look at this and think like, you look at our injuries, Barnes is out, who, you said had a good game against you before. Maddison is out. Vardy's not firing on all cylinders at the moment. I mean, he's not scored in sort of 11 odd games.
Oh, he will
against us. Does that give you any solace at all? Well, it's usually Leicester. It's like we played Brighton and Lallana hadn't scored in 504 minutes, and they said that, and he went and scored. So, but do you look at at Leicester and you think, well, Fulham were bottom and Fulham beat Leicester. They have got these injuries. Vardy's not firing on all cylinders. We might just nick something.
No.
I'm trying to hand you an olive branch here, Rob.
No, I don't. I honestly don't. The fact in it is yes, I think you out those players, but you still be too strong for us. And that's the way it is. I mean, Vardy always scores against us. Fulham beat you because Fulham have got pace. Fulham's got about 7 loan signings. How they've managed that, I don't know. But and they got real pace. When I saw Fulham win at Leicester, you played an high line. They just kept going through you with the pace all the time. And basically, the result were right because they were countering you all the time with pacing behind. We haven't got that. Billy Sharp, you could give him 10-yard start and still catch him. And I love Billy, but that's, if he plays, but we don't know who's going to play because we mix it up. So, to score a goal would be nice. But I still think you've got too much for us.
And looking at Leicester, I mean, as a Sheffield fan, do you look at Leicester and what we've been able to achieve? And like I say, I don't count us as a big club. We are still not thought of as a big club, even though we finished 5th last season, and we probably will finish the same, in the top 4 or 5 this season. But do you look at us and what we have achieved as a similar sort of size club, and thinking that could be us one day?
Like I said before, I don't think we'll attract the investors. Mind you, I mean, Wednesday got Chancery, and they've got their, but they've gone to pot. They had to go up in a few years because now they're in financial problems because they attracted a wealthy owner, but it didn't get the promotion. So I think it's very small chance. The right people would have to come in. This owner would have to sell. But as I say, I don't see us as that attractive to big money people as somebody who's got the catchment area that Leicester has.
And normally I would say on one of these shows, like, who do you think is going to go down? Who do you think is going to stay up? I mean, apart from yourselves, I mean, I think West Brom are down.
Oh, West Brom are awful.
I think the fact that and I think in fairness, and we speak as a club here that's gone through a few managers ourselves, the way that they got rid of Bilic to get Allardyce in, it's almost like serves you right sort of thing. Yeah. Do you think Fulham will survive and Newcastle will go down, or do you think it'll be another combination?
I think Fulham will survive because I think the players that they fetch in I really like. I think they're really competitive in all games. I think West Brom's gone, and you're right. Unbelievable what they did to Billy. And I don't think they're that good, to be honest with you. I think they're a poor team defensively. So I think they'll go down. And it won't surprise me. Brighton play all right, but can't score. Yeah. So I think it's going to be tight. The way I'm looking at it is which would I prefer as an away day if we ever get back next season? Because I think Newcastle's got big problems. I mean, when Newcastle have gone down before, they've come straight back up. I don't think that they'll be able to do that again this time.
Not with Steve Bruce, unfortunately. Yeah, not with Steve Bruce. I don't think they will.
But you look at managers, there ain't that many about. I mean, you've got a banging manager. I love Brendan Rodgers as a manager. I think he's superb, and I think he's put you back on track after a few bad managers. Yeah. So he's brought you back on track, and he's doing a cracking job. So he's good. But if you look outside, like, because people say, well, what if Wilder goes? Apart from your journeyman merry-go-round managers that seem to keep getting jobs like Allardyce or like some of that cohort, there's not a lot of brilliant managers out there where you go, I'd really want him, who'd come to us. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Who'd come into Championship. You're thinking, well, who is there? Or you're looking for a young up-and-coming who's good there. And there ain't that many good managers about at the moment, I don't think. But what you really look at and go, I'd want him.
This is the problem. Certainly not sort of at home, and it's whether you take a risk on a manager. I mean, I know, and I've got to be honest with you, Brendan was a bit of a risk because we have the hassle of him coming not before the end of the season, and how long was he going to stop with us if he did well? But he's building something at Leicester, and we've got the huge training ground, which ourselves probably Manchester City and ourselves have got the 2 best training grounds, certainly in the Premier League, possibly even in Europe. But when we look back at managers we've had, and yes, Ranieri was inspirational, but nobody knew that was going to happen. No. but we couldn't attract we're still not big enough to attract the likes of Ancelotti, who we were supposed to be after 3 or 4 times. Yet he goes to Everton, who he perceives as the bigger club. But talking to bigger clubs, Sheffield Wednesday. Sorry, I couldn't resist that. Sorry.
It's all right. They're the highlight of our season. You can mention them as many times as you want at the moment because they are up trouble. They are in trouble.
That's
I'll
true.
Talk about them all night.
But we've got we have a version of this that we have on the website, www.leicestertillidie.com. We have a written opposition view, and Jeff, who's done that for us, Jeff Thompson, he had this to say, and it's basically about Jamie Vardy. Vardy's interesting. Still pacey, always likely to score, and wants to have a rivalry with us. We don't care really. Wednesday chucked him out in suspicious circumstances, and we find that quite funny. If we could be asked, we'd be rude about Rebecca. Do you? I mean, he seems to love winding the United fans up when he scores, and he does seem to like scoring against you. Would you go along with that, or is it a case of, we hope Vardy sort of, misses and... Well, he obviously hope Vardy.
We know he's going to give it us, let's be honest, and he will. He's a Wednesday night, he's bound to give it us. It's like a United player scoring will get it Wednesday. And that's what football is. I don't get upset about it. You just know when he's got that ball, he's like lightning and he finishes. He's a quality player. The fact that Wednesday let him go, like they let Cantona and let many others, we just fire it back at him. He's still leader for Wednesday's goal that season for that one he scored at Bramall Lane.
I don't know. And if I think I've asked you this actually. I mean, would you, let's say Jamie Vardy became available, for instance, and you were down a division and, his time is coming towards an end, possibly as a Premier League striker, although we think he'll probably stay with us and be like the super sub that comes on for the last 15 minutes when the defences are knackered. Would you take him if he became available, even with his Wednesday links?
Well, in a shot, we've had other Wednesday players. When we came up from Championship, we brought in Gary Medine to strengthen us forward line. Didn't strengthen it that much, but we fetched him, and we've had other Wednesday players. And Medine and Unitedites have got a long history of trouble and everything. So but United fans took to him. Yeah, it's football. Players move around.
And is the rivalry, last question on when you and Wednesday, but is there a rivalry between Sheffield and Wednesday like, let's say, the Liverpool-Everton rivalry, which everybody, they get on even though they're opposing teams? Or is it like the Tottenham-Arsenal where they totally hate each other, or the Palace-Brighton, where they as quickly hit you in the face as say hello to you?
Hatred.
It really is it?
Pure hatred. Absolutely. 100% pure hatred. Can't abide each other. There's no in-between ground. It's his hatred. It made me laugh when you mentioned a few of them derbies. I mean, they've got absolutely nothing. I thought you were going to go to Forest Derby or something like that next time.
Only teams that matter. Only teams that matter. But I say, Rob, don't sit on the fence. Come out and say your thing.
No, we hate each other.
Well, we're going to have a quick score prediction. We do a thing again on lcfc.com, the website, where we have a few ex-players and myself sort of predict the score. It's not looking good for you, unfortunately, but Steve Walsh has gone 3-0 to us. Steve Lynex, who has only got one right all season.
I'm not surprised with that prediction.
I know, it's gone 1-1. Ian Marshall has gone 2-0. Now I've gone 2-1 because even Brighton managed to score against us, and they couldn't score in a brothel, to quote a phrase at the moment. So I've gone 2-1. What do you think it's going to be?
I'm not one to promote gambling, but I think Leicester -1 goal at 6-4 is a very good bet.
So you don't think you're going to score? So you think it's going to be a 1-0 to Leicester?
No, -1 goal. That means it'll be 2+.
Oh, I see what you mean. Sorry.
If Leicester win, so I think Leicester will win at least 2-0.
2-0. To be honest with you, I hope you're right, and I don't often say that to an opposing fan. Rob, thank you so much for coming on.
Problem.
You've taken it on the chin like a good sport. I do like Sheffield United. I love to see you do well. And
I'll just say, I've got an affinity with Leicester because it was still one of the best days out of my life when we won 5-2 here and got promoted in the 90s under Dave Bassett. So Leicester will always have a place in my heart.
Funnily enough, I don't remember that game. Dave who? Yeah, we had him as well, unfortunately. But unfortunately as well, I think you are unfortunately going to be going down this season.
Yeah.
So but hopefully we will see you in the 22-23 season.
Well, if you want me back, if we do go up, absolutely.
Yes. Brilliant,
Enjoyed it.
mate. Thanks very
Enjoyed it.
much for
Thanks
coming
a lot.
on. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
taking it on
Good
the
luck
chin.
for the rest of the season.
Thank you, and good luck. Like I say, I think you'll go
Next
down, but
season.
if you could stay up, would love it. If not, see you in a couple of days. All the best to your family. Thanks for coming on, Rob, and stay safe.
Bye-bye.
Thanks a lot. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. So, with thanks to Rob for joining us there. What a sport. He took it all on the chin, bless him. And gave as good as he got. Dave Bassett, how dare you, sir? How dare you? But we're going to go now. We're going to be back tomorrow at 7 with the preview show. Then with me and Craig looking ahead at what we think the team, well, what Craig thinks the team's going to be. He's got it right a couple of times, so you never know. If you want to listen back to this or you've missed it and you want to catch up on it, we're on all the main podcast platforms, including Apple iTunes, Spotify, Anchor, Google, and Podcast Addict. Leicester Till I Die is what it's under. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, even the Villa fan, you lost to Sheffield United. And also, I'd say good luck against Newcastle, but I wouldn't mean it, mate. And thanks to everybody else that's joined us for all your comments. Hope you enjoy these. If you do, give us a bit of a subscribe, and we would be forever, ever grateful. I'm going to go now. Have a drink. I will see you tomorrow night at 7, and I'll be back with Craig. Hopefully Steve Leinitz will be joining us as well, and we'll be previewing the game. Guys, take care. All the best, and see you 7 o'clock tomorrow. Good night now.
Hello, Matt Elliott here. Be sure to watch Leicester Till I Die TV on YouTube and follow all their social media platforms for all the latest updates and news on Leicester City Football Club.
Leicester Till I Die podcasts on the Apple iTunes, Spotify, Google, Anchor, and all podcast platforms.
Thanks for watching Leicester Till I Die. This is Chris saying goodbye and see you next time.